Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will be my February book haul, and this will be a super massive book haul because in the month of February, within this month alone, I received 70 physical books. Yes, 70. That is crazy, but for those of you who have watched my January book haul video, in that video I mentioned that there were about more or less 30 physical books that were pending to my place. Yeah, so these books go all the way back from the month of July. So all of these books that I bought or sent to me since the month of July finally decided to arrive within the same month. So that's why this month's video haul is absolutely insane. It is massive. There are so many physical books I want to show you here. So I'm going to divide them into 4 categories. The books that I bought, and then the books that I received from my friends and my fiancé, and then self-published fantasy books that I received from self-published fantasy authors, and then finally the last category will be the books that I received from traditional publishers or booksellers. So yeah, I'm going to cut this introduction short and yeah, I'm going to begin. The first category will be the books that I bought. The first 8 books that I'm going to show you, this will be Witch Hat Atelier by Kamome Shirahama. Yeah, this is all the available volumes in the series so far. And I have been wanting to read this manga series for a very long time now because I bought these books. I really thought they're gone already because I bought these books in the month of July 2021. So this took more than 8 months. Yeah, this took more than 8 months to arrive to my place. If you have seen my posts on my Instagram, then you will see that the dispatch date is indeed 12th of July 2021. So all 8 volumes, all the available 8 volumes in the series so far finally arrived, and I am looking forward to reading this series as soon as I can. So this is volume 1. Each cover looks so beautiful. Look, this is the back cover. And then this is volume 2. I think this is a coming-of-age fantasy series, and also, if I'm not mistaken, this is highly recommended for those who love Studio Ghibli movies like Spirited Away, Totoro, and more. So yeah, this is the 3rd volume. Look how beautiful this is. And then this is the 4th volume. This is the back cover. And then this is volume number 5. Volume number 6. Volume number 7. And finally, volume number 8. Yeah, so I got all the available volumes in Witch Hat Atelier so far. And let me know if you have read this manga series or not, because I am so looking forward to reading this. The artwork looks so beautiful. And then the next 5 books that I bought, this is another manga series, and this is Spy Cross Family by Tatsuya Endo. So I've read this manga series. I'm caught up to the manga series so far, but I have decided to buy the Indonesian translated edition because this is super cheap. Yeah, apparently each book costs like $3. Yeah, compared to the English translated edition, which costs probably around $10 or more per book. And so I decided to buy the Indonesian edition. So I really love this manga series. It's very wholesome, it's funny, and also the artwork is so well illustrated. I definitely will read this manga series plenty of times. This is the 2nd volume, and then, hold on. This is the 3rd volume. And then this is the 4th volume. Look, there is a dog too. And finally, the 5th volume. And I also bought Blue Lock. Blue Lock, this is illustrated by Yusuke Nomura, and the plot is done by Muneyuki Kaneshiro. I have recommended this manga series on my channel, I think a few times before. I called this the next Haikyuu. This manga series will be super popular this year if the anime adaptation do well. Yeah, but the manga series, I've read it. This is one of my favorite ongoing manga series right now. It is an incredibly well done sports manga about football. And whether you love sports or football, or maybe not, I still would highly recommend you to read this one, because after all, I didn't even have any interest in reading a Haikyuu back then because I'm not a fan of volleyball, but I still have such a great time with watching and reading Haikyuu. And then the last manhwa that I bought, this is Solo Leveling, and this one is volume 2, and this one is volume 3. Yeah, this is the most recent one. I got this one. This is an extra because I already own the 2nd volume. But because the volume 2 took such a long time to arrive, Book Depository thought that it was gone, and they decided to send me another copy. And this one, this is the 3rd volume. This is the most recent one. The 4th volume will come out in the month of, I think, April or maybe next month in March. But either way, I absolutely love this manhwa series. I have talked about this manhwa plenty of times, and I highly recommend this series. And then moving on to the novels that I bought, I also bought Shattered Sea Trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. So the first book is Half a King, the second book is Half the World, and finally the third and final book is Half a War. This is the only trilogy by Joe Abercrombie that I haven't owned before, and also this is the only books by Joe Abercrombie that I haven't read. The First Law World is one of my top favorite series of all time, and Shattered Sea Trilogy is one of my top priority series to start and finish within this year. So I thought I might as well just cave in and buy the entire trilogy to own and read within this year. And then the next book that I bought, this was The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. So I pre-ordered this one before I even read the book. I already told you all right that this one didn't click with me, but I really wanted to love The Fall of Babel. It is so unfortunate that this didn't click with me, but oh well, now I own the entire series. Personally speaking, I think the cover art of this one is not good. And well, I think this reflects the quality of the story for me. And then the next book that I bought is The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu. Yeah, look at this. This one looks absolutely stunning. The cover art to the US edition of The Veiled Throne is done by Sam Weber, and this is seriously one of the most beautiful cover art that I've ever seen. I mean, look at this. Look, so beautiful. And yeah, this is the third book in the Dandelion Dynasty series. The Dandelion Dynasty is one of my top priority series to start and finish within this year. And I'm glad that I finally own the US edition of this series, because I already own The Grace of Kings and The Wall of Storms in the US edition as well. And then the next 4 books I'm going to show you are all Brandon Sanderson's books. The first one is The Rhythmatist. So I bought this on my birthday. I haven't read this one. I haven't read any of Brandon Sanderson's YA books actually. But knowing how much I love Brandon Sanderson's books, I know that eventually I will read all of his books anyway, so I thought I might as well just buy it now. And this looks so pretty anyway. And inside there are interior artworks too. This is the chapter header, and there are multiple artworks such as this one, and there are more. Yeah, looking forward to reading The Rhythmatist one day. And finally, the last 3 books. These are all part of a Skyward series. Ta-da! This is the UK edition. And honestly, the one that I bought is only Starsight. Yeah, the second one. The first one, Skyward, this is the one that I won in a giveaway hosted by JC May, Elliot Brooks, and also Jess Owens. So I was one of the winners when they hosted this back in the month of November, and I decided to choose Skyward, the UK edition, with the cover art by Sam Green. Look, this is amazing, right? It looks so beautiful. I haven't read this one yet. I think I will be reading Skyward within next year. And this is for Starsight. Look, again, the cover art is done by Sam Green. I think the UK edition is so far more superior than the US edition. And the last one is Cytonic. This one is sent to me by the publisher, Golangs. I'm really thankful that Golangs sent this book to me. Now I own the entire Skyward series so far. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this series one day. And then moving on to the second category, these are the books that I received from my co-bloggers and also my fiance. And I'm going to show you first here, Blood of the Chosen. Yeah, this is the second book in, what's the name of the series? A Burning Blade and Silver Eye trilogy by Django Wexler. I really love Ashes of the Sun. And this is Blood of the Chosen, is the second book, and this is the Goldsboro edition. Look, it's done with spray edges. So pretty. And I really love the cover art of this one. I've been looking forward to reading the continuation to Ashes of the Sun for quite a while now, and here's hoping that Blood of the Chosen will be as good as the first book. Blood of the Chosen was sent to me by TS, my co-blogger, and then the second one here, The Gifts of Reading, is also sent by her. This is, I think, an essay on the joys of reading, giving, and receiving books. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a non-fiction, and I think this will be a great read because, well, this is on the topic of books. And then the next book that I received is The God Is Not Willing by Steven Erikson. This is sent to me by, again, my co-blogger, Emma. And yeah, this is the newest book in the Malazan world. This is the start of a new series called The Witness Trilogy. I have been really looking forward to reading this one. Philip Chase, my friend Philip, has been giving such high praises towards this one. And yeah, I hope that this will be as good as any book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, because Steven Erikson is one of my top favorite authors of all time. I received 2 copies of The God Is Not Willing for the same reason that I mentioned earlier. Emma thought that the book that she sent to me was lost, but apparently it's not. So Book Depository sent me another copy. And the same thing goes for another book sent to me by my coworker again, Emma. And this is The Empire's Ruin, the US edition. So yeah, this is again a double copy. And well, I really love this book. This was my third favorite book of the year in 2021. And yeah, this is the US edition with the cover art done by Richard Anderson. I really love this book. I really love this edition. And I'm really looking forward to reading the sequel to this series. So just like Witch Hat Atelier, this one was sent to me since the month of July. Again, this took 8 months for it to arrive to my place. So that's why there's a double copy, because Emma thought again that this was lost. I mean, I even thought it was lost too. And then the next 12 books that I'm going to show you, these are all the books that I received from my fiance. The first one is The Fourth Monkey by J.D. Barker. So I don't know anything about this one except that I think this is supposedly a very good thriller, and this is pitched as Seven meets The Silence of the Lamb. I don't read a lot of thriller books. I think a lot of you know that I mostly read only fantasy and sci-fi books, but if I'm going to read a thriller, I better make sure that the book that I'm going to be reading is a good one, and hopefully The Fourth Monkey will be a great one. And then the next three is again another thriller series, and this is the Millennium Trilogy by Stieg Larsson. So the first one is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and then the second one is The Girl Who Played with Fire, and finally The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. I don't know much about this series as well, but I did watch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the movie adaptation. I think it was the foreign edition that I watched back then, and I enjoyed it. I hope that the books will be better. And speaking of movie adaptation that I watched, I did watch A Monster's Call. Yeah, A Monster Calls by, the novel is by Petrik. I really love this movie adaptation, and I'm hoping that the book will be as good or maybe even better. But this one, with an illustration by Jim Kay, this book looks so beautiful. Look at this. There's an image, hold on. Ta-da! I think almost every page is illustrated. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get to this one, but considering how much I enjoyed watching the movie, I think I'm going to love the book as well. And then the next one is a classic. It's called The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Again, this one also, I think I watched the movie adaptation when I was still in middle grade. I can't remember, but it has been a long time. But I remember that I enjoyed watching the movie adaptation, but right now I remember practically nothing about this book or the story. So yeah, this is the 50th anniversary edition, and I'm hoping that whenever I get to this one, I'm going to love it, because I think this is very highly praised. And then I also received A Ladder to the Sky by John Boyne. I have read this one, I think, about 2 years ago, and this is a very thrilling book, and it features one of the most hateable main characters that I've read. And then the next book that I received, this is The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. Yeah, I haven't read anything by David Mitchell, but he is very, very famous for his work on the Cloud Atlas, and I have watched Cloud Atlas. I think it was good, but I didn't remember much of the Cloud Atlas other than it being kind of confusing, and I love the visual of the movie, and I'm hoping that The Bone Clocks will be a good starting point for David Mitchell's work. And then the next two books that I got, this is Ball Lightning and The Wandering Earth, both by Cixin Liu. Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy is one of my favorite sci-fi trilogy. The Dark Forest, the second book in the Remembrance of Earth's Past, I think is, well, it is one of my favorite sci-fi books. So I have read Ball Lightning, but I haven't read the Wandering Earth's collection of stories. With the addition of these two books, now I own 5 books by Cixin Liu, and well, they all look so great together. And finally, the last 2 books that I received from my fiance, these are both non-fiction books. The first one is Reasons to Stay Alive, and the second one is Notes on a Nervous Planet by Petrik. Both of them are done by Petrik, and I think my fiance have mentioned that they are very touching and also inspirational. Again, I don't read a lot of non-fiction books, but these are short and they look pretty. So yeah, maybe I will get to them someday. And I think these are self-help books, so I'm hoping that whenever I get to them, they will be helpful to me. And then we move on to the third category. There are 10 books here. This category will consist of the self-published fantasy books that I received from self-published fantasy authors. And the first one is again another copy of Illborn by Daniel T. Jackson. So Daniel T. Jackson decided to send me another copy. This one is a signed copy, and in here it's written, "Iduel reminds us that he who does not search for good books shall never find them." This is a quote that I actually use on my review of the book, and I think a lot of you know already that I really love Illborn. I think so far, this is actually my favorite book of the year. And I know that's only 2 months in so far. But yeah, I also got a bookmark. Yeah, this is from the Broken Binding. And behind it, it looks like this. So thank you so much to Daniel T. Jackson and also the Broken Binding for sending me another copy of Illborn. I will treasure this one, and I am so looking forward to reading the sequel. And then the second one that I got, this is Unbound. Yeah, Unbound by Michael R. Miller. So unlike almost all the books that I mentioned just now, this one actually arrived really fast. This was sent to me 2 weeks ago. I think this is the second book. This is the second book in Song of Chaos series, with the cover art done by Randy Vargas or Vargasny on Instagram. And this series so far has been gaining a lot of great receptions and reviews on Amazon's and also on Goodreads. Oddly, the first book hasn't arrived yet, and I have to wait for the first book to arrive first. But I have a feeling that I will be diving into Ascendant, which is the first book, and Unbound within this year, because yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to love this series. This looks so gorgeous. Then the next book that I got, I have done a full spoiler-free review on this one. This is Rise of the Ranger by Philip C. Quantrill. Yeah, this is the first book in the Echo Saga series. For those of you who haven't read this series, I highly recommend you to read this series because I am having such a great time reading this series. I'm going to be talking about the second book, Empire of Dirt, on my monthly wrap-up on this channel. Then the next self-published fantasy book that I got, this is Nolan. Yeah, this is Nolan, the first book in the Rise and Fall trilogy by Michael J. Sullivan. So this is, I think this series will take place after the Legends of the First Empire, but before the Rhyria books. I am so looking forward to reading this one after I'm done with reading Legends of the First Empire this year. So this cover art, again, this is done by Mark Simonetti, one of my favorite cover artists. And yeah, the cover art looks stunning. I think this is designed by Sean Ticking. And yeah, whenever I get to this one, I think I will have a great time because Michael J. Sullivan has become one of my favorite authors now. And then the next two self-published fantasy books that I got, this is King's Hold and also Eot. Yeah, this is the first two books in the Wildfire Cycle by D.P. Willis-Croft. I think this one was entered into a self-published fantasy block of back then. I can't remember which one. But yeah, I have been hearing a lot of great things, especially for Eot and the third book, which is Ajiwiyak. But the cover art, take a look at this. This is so beautiful, right? Then the next two books that I got, this is The Other Magic and also The Other Way by Derek Smythe. Yeah, this is the first two books in the Passage to Dawn series, an epic fantasy series, I think, done in a classic fantasy fashion, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't know anything much about this one except that, again, this has been gaining a lot of great reviews for those who have read the books, and the authors were kind enough to send the books to me. And yeah, I'm hoping that I will love these books whenever I get to them, just like so many books that I just mentioned now. And then finally, the last two self-published fantasy books that I got this month, and this is something very, very unique. Yeah. Take a look at this. Look, Petrik's Ridge. Yeah, that's my face. That is my face on the cover art. So I think Janice Andrews should receive the award for, well, the highest creativity when it comes to creating personalized books. I mean, this is a personalized cover art with a personalized title, Petrik's Ridge. So yeah, I think a lot of the times Janice Andrews' books have been praised as a great epic fantasy series suitable for those who love Rhyria Revelations, and I think that's a very high praise. Oh, and by the way, the title of this book is actually Dragon's Reach. Hold on. Yeah, this is the real cover art, yeah, Dragon's Reach, and the naked hardcover look like this. So yeah, this is a beautiful self-published fantasy hardcover, and I think I'm going to make everything by Janice Andrews a priority series to read within 2023, or maybe I will get to it sooner, because I just received the second book as well. This is Raven's Ruin. Yeah, again, this is a beautiful hardcover with a beautiful cover art, and the third book, Phoenix Rising, I think will be coming out I think this May. Phoenix Rising will be the third and final book in the Keeper Origins series. So yeah, thank you so much, Janice Andrews, for sending me these books, and well, for creating such a creative cover art. And now we move on to the fourth and final category of this book haul, which is all the books that I received from traditional publishers. And the first 4 books that I'm going to show you, these are the books that I received from the broken binding. So you have probably seen this on my unboxing videos. So this is first is Malice by John Gwynne. This is the hardcover. This is the first book in the Faithful and the Fallen Quartet, one of my top favorite series of all time. And by the way, I'm going to reading The Hunger of the Gods very soon. I think the broken binding did a great job in publishing this again in hardcover because, well, the hardcover of The Faithful and the Fallen is the only hardcover by John Gwynne that I haven't owned yet, and now I have the chance to finally own all of his books in hardcover thanks to the broken binding and also Tor UK. And then I also received the first 3 books in the Dandelion Dynasty, and this is the broken binding edition, which has such a beautiful spray edges. Ta-da! The first one is The Grace of Kings, and then the second book is The Wall of Storms. And then finally, the third book is The Veiled Throne. I think the fourth book, Speaking Bones, will be released quite soon from now. Yeah, the broken binding edition of the Speaking Bones will be released as well. And then the next book that I got, this is Blue Bird by C.L. Pierlot. I know nothing about this book other than this is apparently about lesbian gunslingers in space. So hopefully this will be a great read. And then I got back my copy of The Pursuit of William Abbey by Claire North. This was sent to me by Orbit Books, and back when I first received The Pursuit of William Abbey, my fiance wanted to read this book, so I gave it to her, and then I forgot that I actually owned this book, and then now I got it back. I haven't read anything by Claire North, so I'm hoping that this will be a great starting point for her books. And another book that I got back, this is Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know much about this series except that my co-bloggers, a lot of my co-bloggers have been enjoying the heck out of this series, and the second book I think was just released now. Yeah, I don't know whether I will be getting to this one or not. Right now I have no interest, but well, this is a gorgeous looking book. And seriously, ta-da! And this book was sent to me by Goodreads. Then I received another copy of A Marvelous Light. This was sent to me by Tor UK. I've heard from my co-blogger Emma that this is an incredible book, but I already own the Illumicrate edition, so I probably will read this book whenever that is. Well, from my Illumicrate edition. Then the next book that I want to show you, this is Where Blood Runs Cold by Giles Christian. So this is, I think, his first thriller book. I have really enjoyed reading Lancelot and also Camelot and also Hell's Mouth by Giles Christian. And Lancelot is actually one of my favorite books of all time. And I don't know much about Where Blood Runs Cold, but knowing how much I love Giles Christian book, and even though thriller isn't actually my favorite genre to read, well, I think I will still have a great time because, well, it's just Christian. And then the next 3 books that I want to show you here are books that I received from Orbit Books, which, as some of you may know already, is one of my favorite publishers right now. And the first one is Legacy of Light by Matthew Ward. So this is the third and final book in the Legacy trilogy. Look how beautiful this cover art. This is so epic. And yeah, I have been wanting to own this book for quite a while now. Apparently this was dispatched to me since the month of August. So yeah, it's been 7 months. I didn't even know that this was coming to me. Now I finally own it, and now I can finally finish the entire trilogy whenever that is. I'm going to read Legacy of Ash again first before I continue to Legacy of Steel, and finally finish it with Legacy of Light. I really enjoyed Legacy of Ash, and I'm hoping that Legacy of Steel and Legacy of Light will be better than the first book. And then I received The Bone Ship's Wake. This is the third and final book in the Tide Child trilogy. The Bone Ship's Wake was one of my favorite books of 2021, and I'm glad that now I own every book published by R.J. Barker because of this edition. And if you haven't read any books by R.J. Barker, I think you are missing out. R.J. Barker is one of the most underrated fantasy authors right now. And finally, the last book that I received from Orbit Books is The Bone Shard Emperor by Andrea Stewart. The Bone Shard Daughter was my favorite debut of 2020. And yeah, I have been looking forward to reading this for quite a while now. And the cover art, just like The Bone Shard Daughter, this is illustrated by Sasha Vinogradova, and again this is designed by Lauren Panepinto. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. I think Elliot Brooks actually finished this book within a day. Yeah, I think that is very high praise, and I think that's a sign that this book is very compelling. I have a good feeling that I will be reading The Bone Shard Emperor within this year. And then the next 2 books that I'm going to show you are books that were sent to me by Golangs. So this one, this The Last Wish. Yeah, The Witcher. This is the first book in the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski, and this is The Last Wish Illustrated Edition, and this one is the Golangs edition. And the cover art is done by Tommy Arnold, and this one featured a lot of interior artworks, I think 7. This is a collection of short stories, and each short story within this book will feature one interior artwork by one artist. And I also received a Blood of Elves. I think this is the movie tie-in edition. I'm not a fan of the cover art, but oh well, I got this for free. And as I said, The Witcher is one of my top priority series to start and finish within this year. And now that I finally own The Last Wish Illustrated Edition, I can finally start this series. Oh, and actually I also received the same copy of The Last Wish, and this one is published by Orbit Books. This one was sent to me by my co-blogger Eon, and I'm really thankful that, well, now I own these two editions. I think I can make a comparison of these two books. But regarding the content of these two editions, I think both of them are exactly the same. But from what I've seen, I think the Gollancz edition actually might have better printing. But I need to be sure about this. I'm going to read The Last Wish next month, and then I will make a review video on the book and also on this edition. Again, the cover art is done by Tommy Arnold, and this is designed, and I think the entire project is handled by Lauren Panepinto. And then the next and final two books I'm going to show you on this book haul video is a part of Illumicrate Royal Secret box. So this is the box for January 2022, and now I'm going to show you what's inside it. First, I got, this is a jigsaw puzzle of We Hunt the Flame. See? So beautiful. I'm going to open it. Ta-da! I haven't actually fit the pieces yet, but I love jigsaw puzzles, so this is a great bonus for me. The artwork for this one is done by Lesia Blackbird, and this is designed by Chetty Nora. And then inside this box also contained a Priory Under the Orange Tree socks. This looks so comfortable. I don't know whether I will actually use this or not though, but yeah, this will be great for my collection. And I think this is designed by Alicia Ramos Castillo, yeah, or Pinapali on the Instagram account. And I also got a You're a Survivor phone holder, and I also got the Night and Day spinning pendant, which is inspired from the Never Tilting World. As for the books inside this box, I got The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. I think this is about 4 siblings and a country in ruin, and then there is one quest to save them all. And finally, the main book of this box is This Woven Kingdom by Tahere Mafi. Yeah, look, this is such a pretty edition. This actually reminded me of Strange the Dreamer, especially the spray edges. Look, it's so pretty. And again, this is signed by the author. I don't know whether there is an interior artwork or not, but yeah, this is a beautiful edition. So thank you so much to Illumicrate for sending me all of these things. And yeah, I got this one as well. This is a postcard with a letter from the author. Once again, thank you so much to Illumicrate for sending me these books. And again, my code is Petrik5, and I highly recommend you to check out Illumicrate monthly subscription. So yeah, that's it for this month's super massive book haul videos. So that's 70 physical books. Yes, I just talked about 70 physical books, and now I am so tired. Yeah, I don't think this kind of book haul with this amount will ever happen again within a single month, ever, because this happened only because there were so many books pending to my place. But I'm truly grateful that none of these books were lost, and well, thank you so much to all my friends, my fiance, and also all the publisher and authors who sent all of these books to me. Seriously, this means a lot to me, and well, let me know what you think about this book haul video. Do you spot anything that's interesting to you? I mean, you should have spot something interesting, right? I mean, that's 70 physical books. So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye.